Why would Iran prefer to receive Russia's veteran MiG-29 fighters over China's J-10CE, which has proven its combat effectiveness? Behind this seemingly straightforward military procurement decision lie complex geopolitical considerations, path dependencies in Air Force development, and strategic calculations among major powers. Just days ago, Iranian officials confirmed the delivery of a new batch of MiG-29 fighters from Russia, while continuing to anxiously await the delayed Su-35 fighters and the rumored HQ-9B air defense systems. This development has puzzled many observers, especially given that during the intense conflict of summer 2025, the Israeli Air Force launched multiple strikes against targets within Iran using its F-35, F-15, and F-16 fleets. Iran's Air Force, hampered by outdated equipment and fragmented systems, was largely unable to mount effective interceptions. This unequal contest starkly exposed the fragility of Iran's aerial capabilities. Having learned from this painful experience, Tehran has evidently prioritized rapidly enhancing its air combat capabilities. Yet its approach to selecting new fighter aircraft appears puzzling. To understand Iran's choices, we must first examine the alarming state of its air force. According to open-source intelligence, this once feared Middle Eastern aerial power has severely aged. Its core fleet includes approximately 30 F-14 Tomcats nearing half a century of service, over 30 MiG-29s acquired in the early 1990s, over 70 F-5 series aircraft, 10 Mirage F-1s, more than 50 J-7 fighters, 10 Su-25 attack aircraft, and over 20 Su-24 fighter bombers. While ostensibly possessing over 60 fourth-generation aircraft, the operational readiness of these F-14s and MiG-29s may even fall short of China's Su-27Ks introduced in the 1990s, and its domestically produced J-11 fighters. Airframe fatigue, outdated avionics, lack of precision-guided munitions, and interrupted spare parts supply render these fighters incapable of effectively countering modern air forces in actual combat. More alarmingly, the average age of these aircraft exceeds 30 years, with operational readiness rates consistently below 50%. Many serve merely as spare parts donors, sustaining the few remaining airworthy aircraft. This raises a core question. Faced with such dire circumstances, why does Iran persist in procuring Russian MiG-29s instead of turning to the J-10CE, a superior fighter proven in combat by the Pakistani Air Force? The answer lies not in Iran's preferences, but in China's strategic calculations. From a purely military perspective, the J-10CE is undoubtedly the superior choice, equipped with an active phased array radar and armed with PL-15 long-range air-to-air missiles. It successfully countered advanced fighters like the Russian Su-35 and French Rafale during the 2025 regional conflict. Its overall performance far surpasses that of the MiG-29, a design born at the tail end of the Cold War. Iran shares a border with Pakistan and should possess first-hand knowledge of the J-10CE's combat effectiveness. However, exporting high-end fighter jets is never a simple commercial transaction, but a carefully calculated political decision. Iran sits at the epicenter of Middle Eastern tensions, maintaining highly strained relations with Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the United States. Supplying Iran with offensive weapons like the J-10CE could trigger a dramatic shift in the regional balance of power, leading to unpredictable chain reactions. China pursues a delicate balancing act in Middle East diplomacy, maintaining energy cooperation and traditional friendship with Iran while nurturing technological exchanges with Israel and safeguarding deepening economic ties with Gulf nations like Saudi Arabia. Selling the J-10CE to Iran would inevitably disrupt this delicate equilibrium. It could prompt the United States to invoke the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act to impose secondary sanctions on Chinese defense contractors. Simultaneously, it would provoke a strong reaction from Israel, a key source of advanced technology for China. Moreover, China's relations with Gulf nations have grown increasingly close in recent years. These countries widely view Iran as a regional security threat. Should China supply Iran with advanced fighter jets, it would inevitably strain China's cooperative ties with these energy-rich powers. Given this complex calculus of interests, China likely concludes that the political cost of exporting J-10CE fighters to Iran outweighs any potential strategic or economic gains. In contrast, the political barriers to exporting air defense missile systems are lower. The HQ-9B is a defensive weapon, and even if the deal ultimately goes through, it would trigger far less international backlash. It is precisely this potential political constraint that leaves Russia as Iran's only realistic option when modernizing its air force. Russia and Iran share a traditional, semi-allied Relationship. The Iranian Air Force has long operated Russian-made equipment, with its maintenance systems, pilot training, and logistical support deeply Russified. Theoretically, Russia could offer more options, like the Su-30SM, Su-34, Su-35S, or even the Su-57. But reality is harsh. Russia's own aerospace forces face severe aircraft attrition due to ongoing conflicts, with production lines prioritizing domestic needs, leaving no capacity for large-scale exports. Negotiations for the Su-35S began as early as 2021. Yet years later, delivery remains indefinitely delayed. The fundamental reason is Russia's strained production capacity, which cannot simultaneously satisfy both domestic and export demands. Data indicates that Russia's aerospace forces lost over 80 fixed-wing combat aircraft between 2023 and 2024, creating an urgent need for replenishment. This has diverted production lines originally intended for exports to meet domestic requirements. Against this backdrop, the MiG-29 emerged as Iran's only rapidly obtainable modern fighter. Though not the most advanced option, it offers the quickest solution to replenish Iran's aging fleet. Notably, these newly delivered MiG-29s are likely not the basic variant, but rather upgraded models like the MiG-29 SMT or similar versions. These feature enhanced radar systems and weapon carrying capabilities, enabling the launch of R-77 medium-range air-to-air missiles, representing a significant improvement over Iran's older MiG-29 models. However, these improvements remain limited. The MiG-29's inherent shortcomings, such as its limited range and insufficient multi-role capabilities, persist. Compared to the J-10CE, the MiG-29 lags by a generation in avionics systems, overall weapon performance, and network-centric warfare capabilities. The J-10CE's active phased array radar boasts a detection range exceeding 200 kilometers, capable of simultaneously tracking multiple targets and launching attacks. Even the upgraded MiG-29 variants struggle to surpass 100 kilometers in radar detection range. In missile performance, the PL-15, carried by the J-10CE, significantly outranges the R-27 and R-77 series typically deployed by the MiG-29, granting pilots the advantage of first detection and first strike. However, international arms trade is never solely about performance comparisons. For Iran, choosing the MiG-29 also reflects a strategic consideration to deepen cooperation with Russia. By continuing to procure Russian arms, Iran can solidify its relationship with Moscow, securing Russian support on nuclear issues and regional affairs, and even achieving closer coordination in areas of mutual concern like Syria. At the same time, Iran is well aware of the risks of over-reliance on a single arms supplier. Consequently, it has accelerated the development of domestically produced fighters in recent years, such as the so-called Kassar and Conqueror models. Realistically speaking, however, most of these domestically produced fighters are based on F-5 or MiG-21 technology, lacking stealth capabilities, advanced avionics, and beyond visual range air combat capabilities. They struggle to compete with advanced regional adversaries' aircraft like the F-35 and F-15 SA. From Russia's perspective, supplying MiG-29s to Iran serves a dual purpose. It meets an ally's urgent needs and strengthens strategic ties, while avoiding the regional power imbalance and stronger Western backlash that might result from providing more advanced fighters like the Su-35. Simultaneously, Russia is well aware of China's self-imposed limitations in Iran's arms market, and is eager to exploit this political gap to cement its dominant position in Iran's weapons supply. Reports suggest Russia may also leverage this opportunity to demand greater concessions from Iran, such as drone supplies and regional intelligence sharing, effectively creating a barter arrangement. Thus, Iran's selection of the MiG-29 over the J-10CE stems from the combined influence of geopolitical constraints, immediate operational urgency, and historical path dependence. This decision represents not a rationally optimal choice based on performance, but rather a suboptimal solution within a complex international landscape.